Look at this city. Behind these tall walls and this golden gate lived a man who had everything. This man was powerful. He dressed in the finest purple silk every single day. In this world, purple was the color of kings. It was a sign that you were at the top. His tables were always full of the best food, and he never knew what it felt like to be hungry or cold. He lived in a bubble of luxury, protected by his wealth. But right outside that gate, lying in the dirt, was a man named Lazarus. Lazarus was broken. He had no home, no money, and no strength left. His body was covered in painful wounds that never healed. He was so hungry that he would have eaten the garbage that fell from the rich man's table. Lazarus was alone. No humans came to help him. The only ones who stayed by his side were the stray dogs of the street. They would come and lick his wounds, the only medicine he ever knew. Every morning the rich man walked through that gate. He saw Lazarus lying there in the dust. He saw the blood and the dogs. But he didn't care. He didn't hate Lazarus. He just acted like Lazarus didn't exist. To him, the man on the ground was just part of the scenery. He stepped over the suffering and kept walking. He didn't know it yet, but every time he ignored those wounds, he was building a wall that he would never be able to climb. One night, the street grew very quiet. Lazarus, the man who had suffered so much, finally stopped breathing. He died alone in the dark, right there in the dirt. No one in the city cared. No one cried. There was no funeral for him. To the world, he was just a beggar who was finally gone. But something amazing happened that no human eye could see. Suddenly, the shadows moved. Towering, powerful angels, warriors of light, descended from the sky. They didn't see a beggar. They saw a hero who had stayed faithful through the pain. They lifted Lazarus up. For the first time in his life, he wasn't being carried by his own broken legs. He was being carried by the hands of heaven. They took him far above the clouds to the side of Abraham, a place of perfect peace. Then the rich man died too. His house was filled with the sound of crying. He had a grand funeral. His body was wrapped in the best spices and placed in a beautiful stone tomb. People gave long speeches about how great he was, but when he opened his eyes again, the gold was gone. The purple robes were gone. He found himself in a place of fire and darkness. He looked up, squinting against the heat. Far, far away, he saw a bright light, and in that light, he saw Lazarus. Lazarus was resting, looking strong and happy. The rich man, who used to have everything, now had nothing. He was the one who was hurting now. He was the one who was desperate.
The heat was like nothing the rich man had ever known. He was trapped in a world of red smoke and burning sand. His throat felt like it was full of dust. He looked up through the flames. In the distance, he saw Abraham. And right there, next to him, was Lazarus. Lazarus looked like a prince. He was cool, calm, and happy. The rich man cried out. His voice was cracked and weak. "Father Abraham," he yelled, "have mercy on me. Please, just send Lazarus. Tell him to dip the very tip of his finger in cold water and touch it to my tongue. Just one drop. I am in agony in this fire." Think about that. The man who used to have the most expensive wine in the world was now begging for a single drop of water from the man he used to ignore. But Abraham looked down with eyes that were sad but firm. "My son," Abraham said, "remember your life on earth. You had every good thing. You had the gold, the food, and the comfort. And remember Lazarus? He had only pain and wounds. Now, he is the one being comforted here, and you are the one in pain there." The rich man reached out his hand, but there was no way to get closer. The luxury he loved so much had turned into a wall of fire. The rich man looked at Lazarus and waited. He waited for Lazarus to get up. He waited for the water. But Lazarus didn't move. Abraham spoke again, and his words were heavier than stone. "There is something else you must see," Abraham said. "Look down." Between the light of heaven and the fire of the pit, there was a giant hole. It was a cliff so deep that you could not see the bottom. It was a canyon so wide that no bird could fly across it. Abraham said, "A great chasm has been fixed between us. Even if someone here wanted to go down and help you, they could not. And no one from your side can ever climb up to us. The way is closed. Forever." The rich man's heart sank. When he was on earth, the only thing between him and Lazarus was a small, golden gate. He could have opened that gate at any time. He could have walked across the street in 3 seconds to help. But he chose to keep that gate closed. He chose to stay on his side. And now, that small gate had grown into a giant canyon that no one could ever cross. The choices he made when he was alive had become a wall that would never break. He wasn't just thirsty anymore. He was truly, deeply alone. The rich man finally stopped asking for himself. He looked down through the flames, back toward the world of the living. "Father Abraham," he cried out, "if I cannot leave, then please, send Lazarus back to my father's house. I have 5 brothers. They are just like I was. They have the gold, they have the food, and they are ignoring the poor at their gate. Send a ghost to warn them. If they see someone rise from the dead, they will be scared. They will change. They won't end up here in this fire with me." But Abraham shook his head one last time. "No," Abraham said. "They already have the Bible. They have the words of the holy teachers. They have everything they need to know the truth." The rich man begged, "But if a dead man walks into their house, they must listen." Abraham's voice was like thunder. If they do not listen to God's words, they will not listen to a dead man either. Even if someone rises from the grave, a heart that is hard, like stone, will not break. And the rich man realized the truth. The problem wasn't that he didn't have enough signs. The problem was that he didn't have enough love.